Victory to love, the love inside your heart. Victory to the light that shines in your mind. Earth, sky, and stars, 10,000
Namaste. Hi Cosmic Yogis, welcome to the Shaman and the Mermaid, and we're here to bring you your astrological weather for September 20th all the way through October 20th, a full moon cycle. And this one is swirling with energies changing, retrogrades, directs, changing of signs, a full moon, a new moon to the next full moon. And we want to keep our mantras simple so that we can help you with something to remember. Just like your life purpose, at least from an astrological perspective, is very simple. They're usually one or two words, but then they're the center of the wheel and they spoke out to everything else in your life and either stabilize it if you're working with it, or if not, it can seem like a bumpy road. And so this time we hone down into our mantra that we hope is helpful during this next month's journey.
So the full moon on September 20th is a Pisces full moon, and that brings about a lot of the beyond, the infinite beyond, the spirituality of your practice in life. That's one of the spokes on the wheel that Michael's talking about. So using that full moon energy with a focus on your higher self or your higher consciousness or your spiritual aspects, keep that in mind as we tell you the mantra, which is rise above the duality. That's the mantra for this time, or the theme for this time, rise above the duality. And we'll kind of unpack that a little bit more. The big reason we chose that is because during this next month cycle from September 20th to October 20th, there are 5 planets going direct. One of them goes retrograde and direct during the whole time, and that's that fast-moving planet Mercury. So what that means is a whole bunch of change is going to happen in 1 month's time, where everything has been feeling kind of hesitant or reflective or introspective. All of a sudden, everyone's going to put on the gas and go. The universe is going forward, direct, and fast. And so it's going to feel a bit like a swirl, and it could feel to some people a little chaotic or anxious laden. There's going to be all kinds of information coming at us, and it can also make us overreact or get conflictual, because sometimes when we get uncertain or confused or everything seems chaotic or our anxiety levels go up, one of the first things that we go to as humans is like defensive mode, and that would not serve us in the best way at this time. And so hence again the mantra, rise above the duality of things, and click into that Pisces full moon energy that's kicking off this whole report of being your higher consciousness. Let that big, bright, luminous energy of the full moon and that spiritual sign of Pisces really showcase some of the higher perspectives we could take when this duality or conflict or seemingly having to choose things arises. And we'll go into that a little bit more. But mainly trying to get the point across that this is a time to kind of put on the seatbelt and trust your higher self, listen to your inner guidance and wisdom, because things are going to move really quickly with all these particularly bigger planets going direct. And you want to talk about some of those planets?
Yeah, and I also think this is, while it is a time of chaos, if we go to the Greek understanding of chaos, chaos is the moments before creation, and things come out of the void and things have opportunity. And so as things drop out of their retrograde, it's also like portals will suddenly open, and those who are paying attention see a clearing, and this is the way to go, and there's the opportunity, and act now and move forward where there was once a block or an unclarity about what's going on. So I think it's yes and, but if you can attune to it and rise above the duality, keep that Pisces high open version of yourself so that you can see the opportunities when they arise. And from October 6th to October 18th, this is when the change of all the planets will be. The first to change directions is Pluto. And Pluto has been retrograde since way back in the early springtime or late springtime, so almost 5 months that Pluto's been retrograde. And Pluto goes direct on the Libra new moon. And so it's like a whole new seed of energy, a whole new cycle of blossoming. And Pluto's going direct in Capricorn. And the Libra new moon is square to that. And so while it's both an opening, it's that also chaotic energy. The square says there's some tension here and we need to work with some things. But Pluto is opening up your crown chakra, your Shiva consciousness, your desire to evolve and transform things. And so this can be, if it feels like things have been stuck, but it really feels like you want to get in that cocoon and change, this might be the moment where suddenly you start to feel the butterfly chrysalis altering. The next one to move direction is Saturn, and that will be on October 10th. Saturn has been in the sign of Aquarius and also retrograde for almost 5 months. And so Saturn has been all about rules and laws and society and the way we interact with each other and institutions and karma. And Saturn has been plowing through Aquarius, which is new innovations, new ways of seeing things. And so we've had this old way of being moving through new technologies, new things, new understandings, new ways of using information. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it good for us? Do we need to go back? Some clarity might come out of this.
As it goes direct,
Yeah.
right?
The next one is Jupiter on October 17th, and Jupiter has also been in Aquarius. It slipped into Pisces and then came back. And so this is also significant, and this Jupiter direct in Aquarius is about reigniting your faith and trust in things. Rising above the duality has a lot about trusting that things are not black or white, left, right or wrong, up or down, and that there is that middle space that you can rise above. And the ancients show this by the symbol of the triangle. There's the polar opposites, and then there's the mystical point rising above it. Or our favorite is the two-headed jaguar. Do you want to talk about that for a second?
Well, you should really be the one talking about it with your Mayan studies that you've done. But when we were, we saw so many two-headed jaguars when we were in Guatemala, Belize, Mexico. They're around because the Mayan tradition represents this very concept as a two-headed jaguar. And you can imagine one head looking this way, one head looking this way. And that's representative or symbolic of the duality. Like all of our humanity is constantly in duality. This or that, right, wrong, as Michael said, night and day, even in our daily cycle. We have sleep and awake, and we have masculine and feminine, we have solar, lunar. So the duality is our basic existence, and it's represented by this two-headed animalistic jaguar. The idea or the concept of these two-headed jaguars that we'd see everywhere, not literal two-headed jaguars, they were benches, and people would sit on these two-headed jaguar benches. We're like, what is this about? What is this about? And then Miguel, Michael's Mayan teacher, told us the story that the purpose of those benches of sitting on the two-headed jaguar, and there's one at Karma if you want to see it in the small studio. We hauled it all the way back from Lake Atila.
I love it.
It was worth the haul. Anyway, you sit on the jaguar and you rise above the duality. You're not pushing up against this or that. It's above it. It's a yes and. It's the holding both in equinox. And so this is a perfect time for us as we roll into the equinox, kicking off on that September 20th or 22nd, 2 days after the full moon. The fall season, where things are in between the heat and the cold. We're in that middle place where things begin to let go and things begin to surrender. That can seem a little bit anxious-ridden for some because the death of things can bring up a lot of stuff, but really it's bringing in balance to the ecosystem, bringing in a respite for the growing season that is now tired and ready to go to bed. So there's balance in this time, and that's exactly what it's asking us to do. And then when the very first planet that Michael mentioned, Pluto, goes direct, that's on the new moon in Libra, as he mentioned. Libra is the sign about balance. So as you come into, 2 weeks after the full moon and you're coming to the new moon, it's saying, okay, we've had time for this higher reflection, looking above the duality, seeing the things that can be yes or no, and saying it's yes and. It's yes and. We can have this and this. And then you come to that new moon and you come to your Sankalpa and set your intention in that Libra balance energy. Libra is all about balance and relationship and, you know, co-partnering, coming together in co-creation, making things work synergistically. If it's in its best way, that's what Libra is all about. So this new moon on October 6th with that first direct, that Pluto direct on October 6th new moon energy is the kickoff of the swirl that we mentioned at the beginning. That's when all these big changes are going to start to feel like, whoa, what's happening? And, you know, Michael said chaos can feel like disorder, or we both have said that, but it's really the beginning of creation. It's what's coming out of the void. And if you think of like a surfer, they're out on their board waiting for that wave to come. I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm out there, and I don't get on a surfboard, but I'm swimming out in the ocean, and that's already kind of scary. I know, Shaman and the Mermaid, mermaid's scared of the big, deep ocean. When I feel those waves coming and cresting, I get a little anxious ridden. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And the worst thing I could do in that situation is panic, because then I'm going to get tossed and turned and thrown about in those waves. But the surfer dudes and dudettes are on their boards waiting for that chaos, waiting for that creative wave to crest so that they can start paddling and go and ride the chaos, ride that wave right on into the shoreline. And then it's like beauty to them. It's like triumph, and it's victory, and it's success. And they rode the swirl into their highest dream. And really that's what is an opportunity right now, is to ride this wave of directness from all these planets, big planets. Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter are heavy hitters. And then Mercury in this time will go at first retrograde at the very beginning of the month on September 26th. And we all know about Mercury retrograde. It means zip your lip, don't say too much, don't get yourself in trouble. And then it goes all the way through, and it's the last one to go direct, and it will go direct right before the next full moon in Aries, and it goes direct on October 18th. So there's the last little bit of that swirl when Mercury comes into direct at the very end of the report, and then that's when you're sliding in on your surfboard right into shoreline, if that works for you. But for me, that would be, instead of being scared of it all, get on the board and ride the wave. Just go, 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 and capture the energy, the positive energy of all this direct planet shift at this time. And remember that this is really about holding yourself above the duality of it. So not getting in the conflict of the us's and the thems and the yeses and the nos, but seeing that, 30,000 foot view of everything. Blast yourself out into the cosmos and look back down on Earth, the little tiny marble in the whole cosmos of things, and really see if all the energy and angst that you're holding is really needing to take up that much space in your life right now. Maybe it's something that instead you could get on your surfboard and then ride the wave and, Shakta.
One other day to keep a lookout during this report is October 9th. And I just noted this because the Sun, Mercury, and Mars all conjoin that day. It's a very interesting union cycle that doesn't often happen, that they're all coming together on the same day. I didn't research when it last happened. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful new cycle. The Sun is your personal self. Mercury is your psychopomp, your ability to travel between the worlds and communicate either verbally, telepathically, clairvoyantly. And Mars is the willpower, the initiator, and also the bringer and beginner of things. And so if you're using this chaotic swirl, because this is happening right in the midst of all the planet changes going direct, this is like your sun power getting ready to go with your clairvoyance ready and your willpower saying, I know what I want and I'm going for it. set an intention this day and put forward what you want the universe to look like or this world to look like in this next cycle.
So just a little recap of some big days. The Pisces full moon that kicks this all off, which is Monday, September 20th. And then, of course, fall equinox, which is September 22nd, bringing in the shift or the change as we herald in autumn. Mercury goes retrograde on September 26th. And then Pluto is going direct on October 6th. That's the new moon as well, so good day for ceremony and setting intention. And then Saturn goes direct October 10th. Jupiter goes direct October 17th. Mercury will go direct back out of this whole thing on October 18th, and that will land us on the full moon October 20th. And then, as Michael mentioned, that beautiful conjunction with Sun, Mercury, and Mars, that was October 9th. So lots packing on. Basically, just hold yourself in your highest way. Sit on the double-headed jaguar. Rise above the duality. Let yourself be in balance, taking the as above, so below. As the seasons change, just be like fall. Surrender what no longer serves and let it fall to the ground. Hold yourself steady and tall. The tree doesn't fall down, just the leaves do. And then we'll see you on that Aries full moon, October 20th, and we'll bring up what's coming up next. Have a good one.
Namaste.
Victory to love, the love inside your heart. Victory to the light that shines in your mind. Earth, sky, and stars, 10,000 suns shine within us all. Give praise to the one. Victory to love, the love inside your